All right, we're live. So as you can see from the title, there are a lot of fanboys out there trying to make false equivalencies between what's going on with Canelo and Demetrius Andrade and what's going on with Spence and Crawford. And I'm going to highlight those things because this is what they say. They say, Spence said he want to get all the belts, but he ain't want to face Crawford, right? Just like how Canelo said he want to get all the belts, but he ain't facing Demetrius Andrade. It's not the same. Y'all trying to force something, and that goes for Hybrid 95, and also for Floyd Manny, okay, or Manny Floyd, whatever his name is, and also for this dude. What's his name? I forgot his name now. I'm calling you guys out because you guys are giving false equivalencies. Okay, it's called false equivalency. You're trying to force an argument on something that's not an argument. Canelo got all the belts. He had the IBF, the WBA, and the WBC. He had one more belt to get, which was the WBO. Canelo said, not I, Canelo said he wanted to get all the belts by the end of 2019. Canelo said that. There was just one more belt to get. There was only one more person to get it from, and that was Demetrius Andrade. All of a sudden, Canelo suddenly did not have plans to face Demetrius Andrade. Okay? All of a sudden, he changed. And Canelo was trying to fight everybody but Demetrius Andrade. Okay? Everybody. Find himself all the way up at 175. When he couldn't get the 175 fight, he was trying to fight Derevyanchenko because he had the mandatory was enforced. All right? Was updated to franchise champion so that Jamal Charlo no longer was his mandatory. I'm not going to say that he was avoiding Jamal Charlo. I can't say that because the WBC is the one that gave him the franchise belt. But conveniently at a time when Jamal Charlo became his mandatory, Jamal Charlo was GGG's mandatory, mind you. Right? Canelo inherited that. So Canelo had one more belt. There was no other belt holders out there. Demetrius Andrade. All roads led to him. If Canelo wanted to get all the belts, he had to go through Demetrius Andrade. And as you can see, he didn't do that. And I'm going to follow up on what he said about Demetrius Andrade, but we're going to get to that later. Right? Because everybody's talking about how Demetrius Andrade, what he do to deserve a Canelo fight. It's not what he do to deserve a Canelo fight. It's what Canelo said. Now, y'all want to turn that around and say, Errol Spence said he want to get all the belts. But y'all not telling the whole truth. Errol Spence charted out the part way through which he said he would get all the belts. And he just got 2 of the belts. Right? He said, I'm going to go through Sean Porter. He didn't say I was going to face Terence Crawford next. He said, I'm going to go through Sean Porter. I'm going to get that belt. Then I'm going to go through Manny Pacquiao. I'm going to get that belt. Then I'm going to go at Terence Crawford. All right? Bob Arum got the assurance from Al Heyman that in 2020, Terence Crawford would face Errol Spence. There was actually, Errol Spence charted out what he was going to do. Errol Spence didn't have all the belts. He only had 1 belt when he said what he said. Now he has 2. There are 2 remaining belts out there. So he can either go through Manny Pacquiao or he can go through Terence Crawford. Right? This is not a Canelo situation where Canelo had all the belts except for 1, and all roads lead to Demetrius Andrade. So y'all are making some false equivalencies as fanboys that y'all are. Y'all are making false equivalencies about trying to equate Canelo with Errol Spence. Errol Spence told you what he was going to do, and so far he's been doing what he said he was going to do. He said, Terence Crawford is the hardest fight to make, so he's going to be last. Errol Spence said that. Errol Spence went and saw Terence Crawford. Canelo has never gone to see Demetrius Andrade. In fact, he tries to limit how much he speaks about Demetrius Andrade, showing you he ain't interested in that fight. And then when he does make a statement on Demetrius Andrade, which happened yesterday in a conference, he said this. He said, he's not interested in facing Demetrius Andrade. He said that. He said, there's no challenge in facing Demetrius Andrade. That's what he said. He turns around and says, Demetrius Andrade, he's boring. I want to be in action-packed fights. That's what he said. And we all know Demetrius Andrade ain't boring. Everybody know that. Demetrius Andrade, in his last set of fights, in fact, all of his fights at middleweight, has dropped his opponent. He has dropped his opponent. He's not finished his opponent, but he has dropped every single opponent he has faced. Multiple times. He's had 5 knockdowns in 3 fights. 3 fights, yeah. Okay? Furthermore, let me make this statement abundantly clear to y'all. So y'all stop trying to make false equivalencies and sound like stupid ass fanboys. Because y'all sound like stupid ass fanboys all the time. Because y'all never come with no reason. Y'all just keep on talking shit. Alright? Y'all keep on talking shit. Alright? Talking about Canelo gonna smoke Demetrius Andrade. Well, let's see it then. Let's see it. Let's see him smoke him. Alright? Let's see it. Because he said he wanted to get all the belts. Now he not doing what he said he would do. We all into his word. It's not about y'all talking about Demetrius Andrade. Does he deserve it or not? Fuck that. It's what Canelo said. Did Khan deserve a Canelo fight? Did Khan deserve it? Khan didn't even call out Canelo. Well, I think he did. I think he called out Canelo, something like that. But did Khan deserve a Canelo fight? What did Khan do of late? What did Khan do of late? Now we can look at Mikey Garcia and say, did Mikey Garcia deserve an Errol Spence fight? Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, because Mikey Garcia's volume of work spoke to the fact that he continuously go up in weight and dominate bigger fighters. So obviously Mikey Garcia had a case. That's why people was riding with Mikey. I wasn't riding with Mikey, but I knew he wasn't going to get knocked out. I thought he had a chance, a better chance than how he got shut out, but it is what it is, right? Mr. Punch Drunk get knocked out Khan. He ain't got no, what did he do to deserve that fight with Canelo? Nothing. He did nothing. Every time you look at the Canelo scenario, so in light of that, how the fuck we going to deal with Demetrius Andrade? Does he deserve to have a Canelo fight? Errol Spence, except for the case of Ocampo, for those of you who don't know, and Ocampo I think was a mandatory, except for the case of Ocampo, Errol Spence in his 4 fights so far, in his 5 fights I think as world champion, IBF world champion, has only fought deserving opponents. Only fought deserving opponents. Okay? His first fight was against Kell Brook. Right? And some people gave Kell Brook a greater chance than Errol Spence to win that fight. I was one of them. Okay, he beat Kell Brook. He stopped Kell Brook. I didn't think he was ever going to stop Kell Brook. He stopped him. Okay? After that, guess who he defends against? Lamont fucking Peterson, who was the WBA regular champion. Yeah, it was a paper championship, but nonetheless, he was the regular champion of the WBA, former IBF world champion, beating the likes of guys like Kendall Holt and fucking Amir Khan. Okay? That's who Errol Spence beat. And then after that, guess who Errol Spence fought after that? And this is after he gets his championship. All right? After he gets his championship, then he faces this dude called Ocampo. He probably was his mandatory. Because I don't know what the fuck. I mean, I personally think it was like a GGG opponent. Okay? I didn't really give a fuck about him. All right? And after that, he unifies with Sean Porter. That's his 4 championship fights, man. Okay? He's not doing like Canelo. Canelo take a hard touch and a soft touch. You know, like this Kovalev fight is a soft touch. You know, he had a hard fight with Danny Jacobs, take a soft touch. He had a hard fight with GGG. He have a soft touch now with Rocky Fielding. That's how Canelo be doing it, straight through. Yeah, they high profile guys. They got championship belts, but they soft touches. And Kovalev's a soft touch. And y'all could say whatever the fuck y'all want. He a soft touch. I'm going to drum it in your ears. He's going to get stopped. All right? That's just what it is. But anyway, back to what I was saying. He preferred to face Sergey Kovalev than face Demetrius Andrade. And I'm watching him hop, skip, and jump everywhere. Right? When he was the one that said he wanted to unify all the belts. And then all of a sudden he changed his mind. All of a sudden he was stalling and twisting and turning and trying to find every single fight except for Demetrius Andrade. We all know what it is. We all know what it is. That's not the case with Errol Spence. Y'all being pretty mature all the time. Errol Spence told you what he was going to do. And y'all talking about ducking. Why would Errol Spence be ducking Terence Crawford and then meets him at an event, his own top rank event? Why would he meet him there if he wanted to duck him? Okay? Talking about you too small. Errol know what he's saying. And it still stands true to this day. To this day. Deontay Wilder style. To this day. To this day. Okay? So let's get one thing straight here. Let's get one thing straight here. Canelo versus Demetrius Andrade is not the same case as Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. And Errol Spence ain't ducking shit. And who knows? The next fight might be against Terence Crawford just because y'all aggravate Errol Spence. He might just dust his ass the next fight. And look for that Pacquiao fight. That final 4 fight might be a Pacquiao fight. Because y'all stupid ass fans keep on talking so much. Y'all just keep on running your mouth. Like the Charlos would say. You keep on running. Keep running your mouth. Keep running your mouth. See what happens. The next fight might be just the Terence Crawford fight. Because Errol Spence, from what I heard, he's got injuries. Don't get me wrong. The only thing I'm worried about is, does he have any head trauma? Like serious head trauma. That's the only thing that really, really worries me. So they should probably keep him under observation for a couple of days. See what's going on with his head. And if he's okay, you know, cool. Maybe those Ferraris have roll cages. Maybe that's why he survived. Because I heard he wasn't flung from the car. That fucking car was spinning, man. That car was just cartwheeling going, man. I was crazy. So anyways, I just wanted to say that. The other point is, so Terence Crawford has had, what, 4 or 5 fights too as a champion? Maybe 3? I think it's 3. Okay. And the people he faced are Jeff Horn. All right. Okay. Jeff Horn was a champion. He definitely wasn't no top 10 welterweight. He definitely wasn't no number 1 pound for pound, number 1 welterweight. He wasn't no fucking pound for pound list either. And if I do recall, Kell Brook was on the pound for pound list, and he was the number 1 welterweight in the world. Some shit like that. I think it was at number 10. Okay? So Kell Brook was up there. Errol Spence fought Kell Brook, the number 1 fucking welterweight in the world. Okay? And I'm pretty sure Terence Crawford did not face that. He didn't even face a top 10 welterweight. He didn't even face that. If anything, probably the number 10 welterweight in the division, because he beat Manny Pacquiao. Okay? That's no fault of Errol Spence. He got the WBO title, so I ain't mad at him. But after that, who'd he face? Jose Benavidez. Who the fuck is he? I gotta be honest. Who did Jose Benavidez beat to make me, you know, what, Mauricio Herrera? That he didn't win that fight. So who did he beat? And when we look, absolutely nobody. Nobody. Jose Benavidez was a name, but he hadn't established himself. And I heard he was injured, his leg. And still took Terence Crawford 12 rounds to get him out of there. Right? If a dude is crippled like that, you give him the bum treatment. You give him the bum treatment. Then Terence Crawford faced Amir Khan. This is the guy that had been dusted over and over again and dropped in his fight before he faced Terence Crawford. This is the dude that we're talking about. Who's done. Amir Khan is done. He's so done. Right? Kell Brook want to face Amir Khan. Amir Khan should never give him that fight because, what? To get knocked out by Kell Brook? To prove what? To prove what? Khan don't need the money. So, I mean, That's the opponents he's had. And the upcoming opponent he's supposed to have is Gavaliauskas, which is I don't need to say nothing. I mean, just go watch the fights, Gavaliauskas. He looked great against nothing, nobody's. But as soon as you step up in competition, he looked like any other dud out there. He's probably worse than Jeff Horn. Well, he is worse than Jeff Horn. But because he's a top ranked fighter, Bobby, I'm pushing that fucking fight. And Terrence gonna have to face him because that's who he's gonna face. Okay? Now let's look at Demetrius Andrade. So basically, Terrence Crawford did not face any top 10 welterweight, maybe Amir Khan, fringe. Let's look at Demetrius Andrade, shall we? Like Terrence Crawford, Demetrius Andrade has faced, I think, 3 opponents since he's become WBO champion. He faced some undefeated dude named Walter Katongdo Kwa, whatever the fuck his name is. Quite frankly, I don't give a fuck about this dude. He's a nobody. Then he faced Artur Akavov, another miserably nobody name. The only factor that you need to know is Artur Akavov, before he faced Demetrius Andrade, had faced Billy Joe Saunders. All right? That's about it, really. I don't think Akavov did anything or faced anybody else of note. So he's like a Jeff Horn in a way. Except he lost. Yeah, he ain't faced nobody. I mean, he's just absolutely nobody. He's a Euro bum. Gave Demetrius Andrade a fight. He gave him a fight. The dude that you gotta respect is Maciej Solecki or Solenki. This motherfucker you gotta respect. Okay, I'm gonna tell you why. Solenki, he faced not just Demetrius Andrade, he faced Gabe Rosado. Almost got his ass knocked out in the final rounds, but he boxed him very well. He also faced Danny Jacobs, and it gave him a good fight. He also beat Jack Culcay. You must have heard of that name before. He also knocked out Hugo Centeno Jr. He gave him his first loss, actually. So those are some those promising upcoming fighters, and also some very good veteran fighters. Jack Culcay gave Daravinchenko all he could handle. So Jack Culcay is a good fighter. So when I mention these names, these are good fighters. Okay. So Maciej Solenki is actually a real fighter, and he's also ranked in the top 10 middleweights in the division. So at least one top 10 middleweight Demetrius Andrade has faced, and another guy who he basically fought another world champion but lost. Okay, Terrence Crawford had Jeff Horn. You got to give him credit for beating Jeff Horn. I mean, Jeff Horn ain't nobody. That's the greatest accomplishment he's ever done is beat the legend Manny Pacquiao. That's about it. He ain't going to do nothing else. He ain't going to do shit. But with Maciej Solenki, he proved he's the goods because he's been competitive both in my opinion, in Danny Jacobs' fight and also in Demetrius Andrade. Demetrius Andrade doing a better job than Danny Jacobs. But Maciej Solenki's good, solid defense, good tactical, applications of things and offense. He just doesn't do enough offense, But Demetrius Andrade wasn't really landing on him like that. He's a good fighter. Did almost get dusted, though, by Gabe Rosado when Gabe Rosado started going into fighting mode. But he was dominating Gabe Rosado for 11 rounds. So credit to him on that. And knocked him down twice. We thought he was going to finish him, but Gabe just woke up, man, and said, fuck this. So he's a step above Gabe Rosado. He's a step above all them other guys. He's proved himself. And he's a tough, durable guy. Good boxing inside, good boxing still. We're looking forward to seeing more of Maciej Solenki. He's a good fighter. So, Maciej Solenki reminds me of Victor Postol kind of fighter, except he got more skill than Victor Postol, I think. But anyway, at the end of the day, my point is this. Y'all trying to say that Demetrius Andrade ain't done nothing. Okay. That's why he ain't get the Canelo fight. Fair enough. But he done more than Terrence Crawford, in my opinion, at middleweight when he moved up to middleweight than Terrence Crawford has done at welterweight when he moved up to welterweight. Quite frankly, okay. Terrence Crawford had a world champion he beat. Fair enough. Demetrius Sanders didn't beat no world champion. Beat a bum, in my opinion. And then after that, Terrence Crawford faces a dude who's hyped up because he's a top rank fighter, but really, quite frankly, ain't done shit. In fact, he most likely got his ass beat, okay, and was injured, okay. You can't count that shit. We'll see how Jose Benavidez' rest of his career pans out. But as of present, how you gonna count that win? And when you look at Demetrius Andrade, he fought Akavov. Akavov's like a bum rally, basically. I mean, no disrespect to Akavov, but shit. The only guy he fought was Billy Joe Saunders, who outclassed his ass. I don't know what you want to make of that. And then the last one is Amir Khan. Now, Terrence Crawford finally got a name, which is good for him. But at the end of the day, Maciej Solanke is a much better fighter than Amir Khan at this point in time. Amir Khan is just a shell of himself. He's been knocked out so many times. Maciej Solanke is actually in the top 10 middleweights. Amir Khan ain't nowhere in the top 10. You could mention him in passing, but he ain't really a top 10 welterweight at all. So, I mean, he's just a name now. You could say Terrence Crawford got a name, and I respect that. But as to who's the better fighter or the better competitor at this point in time, Maciej Solanke, of course, obviously, is the better one of the two. So what I'm saying is Demetrius Andrade has actually faced, in my opinion, better opposition than Terrence Crawford has faced. And then Terrence Crawford going to face another dud, not to get it twisted. So is fucking Demetrius Andrade next, because I'm hearing he has to face his mandatory, who's another fucking dud. Some Joe whatever. I don't give a fuck about that name, okay? Quite frankly. I want to see him face either Billy Joe Saunders or Jamal Charlo, or go up in 168 and face Danny Jacobs. But fuck it, man. You gotta face somebody for real. Now that you're not gonna get the Canelo fight next, you gotta face somebody. So I hope that he lines it up. Billy Joe also gonna be fighting another dud. So that everybody fighting duds these days. Usyk's fighting a dud. Fucking Dimitri Bivos fighting a dud. Okay, this is what people don't understand. If you keep facing fucking duds, ain't nobody want to see that. The casual fan don't even gonna recognize you. They don't give a fuck about you. You gotta face somebody that's competitive, man. We don't want no fucking duds or somebody at least we know. You know what I'm saying? So that's where these guys fail, because it's like, okay, you gotta stay busy fighting. Okay, cool, that's all right. But you're a fucking world champion, man. If you were a world champion, what the fuck you like? Actually, Boxing Beats and Rise went off on this shit, and he was losing his shit. And you know what? Boxing Beats and Rise had a point. He was saying usually you face the top 15 guy in a division or even in a sanctioning body, right? They wouldn't sanction a fight if you facing somebody who's not a top 15 fighter. But he says now sanctioning bodies doing all kinds of bullshit. They just throwing up somebody's rankings because they're going to face somebody. And it's bullshit. You can't get past all these other guys. All right. If you're going to face a guy that's not in the top fucking 15 currently, then have it as an unsanctioned bout. Have it as an unsanctioned bout. And he absolutely fucking correct. Unsanctioned championship bout, that is. All right. He's absolutely correct. That's what they used to do back in the day. But nowadays, now they hyping up guys and just suddenly the guy just jumps into the top 15. I remember Willie Monroe. He wasn't in the top 15 or nothing, right? All of a sudden, Willie Monroe just jumped into the top 15 because he had to face Gennady Golovkin. You remember that shit? Andre Berto. He wasn't in the top 15 or shit. Then all of a sudden, in the WBA, he just jumped all the way up to the top 50, to the number one position, and became Keith Thurman's mandatory. You know what I'm saying? And it's only because it's setting this guy up for fights. You know what I'm saying? And you can't be having that kind of crap happening, man. You can't be having that stuff. Of course, Floyd faced him. You can't be having that crap happening, man. In boxing, there are people, they got their position. They work hard to get where they're at. You can't be doing this shit to them. At least Berto was a known name. But I'm just saying, who the fuck is this dude? I don't know the dude that... Okay, let's put it this way. I know you need to introduce new boxers in boxing. I know boxers work hard to get their shot in their position, right? But I feel like in boxing, they trying to protect people, and so certain fights fall through. Take for instance, um, that fight was supposed to happen between Sparrow and Garcia. All of a sudden, just conveniently, just before the day of the weigh-in, that's just after Sparrow said what he said. He said, Garcia thinks he know what he's doing. Oh, we'll see, we'll see. Sparrow looked like that fight looked like it was going to be competitive because Sparrow had just beaten, I think it was Hank Lundy, right? Definitively. Got good boxing skill. And after seeing that, I was like, Ryan Garcia is taking a big step up. Let's see how he do. This looking interesting. And all of a sudden, out of the clear blue sky, this man has a warrant for him or some shit like that. Nah, I don't buy that shit. Golden Boy had something to do with that. All right. Now we had Usyk. Usyk was first supposed to face what's the kid's name? Y'all know who I'm talking about. Danny was supposed to face this Spong dude. I started researching the Spong dude and realized, hey, this dude, he could be good. Then all of a sudden, Vada catches him dirty. And what makes it so interesting is, who's to question these drug testing bodies that they're bringing up positives, right? Take for instance what I'm talking about, Dillian White issue, right? The WBC is dragging their ass on Dillian White's issue. Up to now, they ain't got no hearing for Dillian White, right? And my point is, and they stripped him. They stripped him of his mandatory to Deontay Wilder, right? Dillian White be knocking on the door for that for the longest while, and they stripped him now, right? All of a sudden, out of clear blue sky, Usyk's the guy that's gonna have this stupid ass fight right here with Chaz Witherspoon. Okay, it's a stupid ass fight. He gonna fight Chad Witherspoon on 4 days' notice, right? To get to that mandatory position. What the fuck is going on in boxing, man? What the fuck is going on in boxing? Poopy Sister says Canelo would have a hard time with Crawford if they could somehow fight. Oh no, he wouldn't have a hard time with Crawford. Crawford too small. Way too small for Canelo. Way too small for Canelo. He'll knock Crawford out. You do understand Canelo is going to fight up at light heavyweight, right? Poopy Sistrum, shout out to you. He would have no problems. In fact, he would just dog him. He just walk him down and he had no respect for his power, nothing. He just walk him down and just blitz him. WW Raw 2013 XX. Good morning, my brother. Vasil says, what's up, man? I'm cool, man. I'm just talking about this Canelo versus Demetrius Andrade issue, and that it's not the same as Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. It's not the same. You know, Errol Spence has options, and he can take his options. Canelo didn't have no options because he said he wanted to get all the belts. That's what he said in 2019 specifically. So unless he intends to face Sergey Kovalev and then come back down to 160 and face Demetrius Andrade, which he said he has no interest in having because Demetrius Andrade's style is boring, and he says because he ain't faced nobody of note. All right. So I mean, if you're gonna do that kind of crapper, and you're gonna say that kind of stuff, well, you clearly now are indicating you didn't want to face this dude. And you've been trying to make all kinds of fights except that fight, even though in spite of the fact that you said you wanted to get all the belts in 2019. In fact, you lost your IBF belt, right? Because you didn't pursue a Demetrius Andrade fight after the Danny Jacobs fight. If you and your team had pursued that, you would have had your IBF title right now. But they never were interested in a Demetrius Andrade fight. And he's confessing it now. He's given reasons, but I don't buy his reasons. I don't buy it. Because if you pay attention, right? If you paid attention, he's talking about the fact that, okay, I'm going for legacy. I'm going for exciting fights, right? Demetrius Andrade, first of all, he's not a boring fighter, right? They talking about, you know, who he faced. Okay, Liam Smith, you could argue, okay, Liam Smith, he a more of an exciting fighter because he don't move around the ring now. You know, I don't have to go find him like Arislandi Lara. I get you, I get you. I hear the code word. Style is different, difficult to face. So Canelo had to go find Demetrius Andrade. At certain points in time, Demetrius Andrade taking it to him and doing different things. I get what he's saying. In code, he's saying Demetrius Andrade is a difficult style for me, and I ain't ready for that. Okay, that's what he's basically saying. But as Demetrius Andrade said, he said he gonna have to face me. He's gonna have to face me. And Jamal Charlo said the same thing. He gonna have to face me. We're gonna go up to 168. We're gonna keep on going up, and he gonna have to face us. And soon, if Demetrius Andrade keep on racking in wins and getting names on his resume, as like I said before, I hope that he goes and faces Billy Joe Saunders. I hope that happens. Billy Joe Saunders again fighting a dud. Demetrius Andrade facing a dud. They could have faced each other, but that ain't happening. So it's all good. And you know, like my boy Intangible Boxing says, we need to have these fights happen as soon as possible. But back to the Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford issue. We also need to have this fight happen as soon as possible, especially in light of what happened with Errol Spence. We need to have these fights happen as soon as possible. But Terrence has said that he would face, not Terrence, Errol has said he's going to face Terrence Crawford in 2020. I do keep him to his word. I think he will. So that fight is coming. So when people dog him and you hear Terrence saying all kinds of crazy things in the media, it don't mean shit. Okay? And you know what's weird, though? It's weird as Terrence be calling out Errol Spence. You don't see Demetrius Andrade calling out Canelo. This is another point. Demetrius Andrade is not trying to, and you don't see him punking Canelo either. You know, he makes his points with reasoning, you know, whereas Terrence Crawford don't make no points with his reasoning. No, Mac. They just call out, right? And just punking guys while they fighting duds. You know what I'm saying? Demetrius Andrade, for example. Demetrius Andrade be calling out everybody. He been calling out Triple G. He been calling out Canelo. Well, he ain't calling out Danny Jacobs. And I notice he doesn't really call out Jamal Charlo, which I find very interesting. But I can understand it because he's saying, well, all these guys are on the zone. But nonetheless, he ain't shying away from Jamal Charlo. But here's the thing. He calling out everybody. You know what I'm saying? He said Darren Fichenko could get it. You know what I'm saying? Any one of y'all. Let's do it. Right? Demetrius Andrade doing that. Terrence Crawford's not calling out everybody. He ain't calling out Sean Porter. You don't hear Danny Garcia all up in his mouth. I heard him doing a row with Danny Garcia and then he stopped. I don't really hear him calling out the welterweights. I don't hear. He sure as hell ain't called out Keith Thurman. I never heard him call out Keith Thurman. Right? He just focused on one guy, Errol Spence. And I find that very interesting because you had other world champions in that division. You even had Manny Pacquiao in that division. I've never heard him call out Manny Pacquiao either. My point being, I mean, I like that Terrence Crawford's talking. Don't get me wrong. Okay? But I'm saying is, y'all fanboys, it's y'all fanboys I'm talking about. Y'all try to make false equivalencies. All right? Demetrius Andrade has been an avoided fighter since 154. Since 154. Demetrius Andrade showed up to Jamal Charlo's, the two Charlo brothers, fights. Talking to them about, let's make a fight. He literally did that. Now, to be fair and honest, he did turn down one of the Charlo brothers' fights. Okay? And that Charlo brother, they were scheduled to have a fight, and they never had it. And that Charlo brother was pissed. Okay? And this is when the Charlo brother, he was not a world champion. Okay? And it was Demetrius Andrade making all the demands. And was saying, you have to get a world title before you face me and all this shit. Right? So now the tables are turned, you know, and now his ass is out in the cold where the Charlo brothers are getting their fights and getting their stuff in. And, you know, because, of course, Jermell Charlo beat J-Rock, who is now the unified 154-pounder in that division, the unified champion. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, credit to Jamal Charlo on that. That's a huge accomplishment. Demetrius Andrade ain't got nothing close to that, right? At 154. But Demetrius Andrade was inactive for a long time because he couldn't get fights. Because the promoter he was with was not getting him the fights he wanted. And so he was kind of in a situation. He came out of the situation. He's getting fights. He's fighting more regularly every year. This will be the fourth time I think he's fighting in 2019. So good for him. But to say that Demetrius Andrade, um, you know, he don't have credibility to what he's saying. Of course, he's got credibility to what he's saying, and he's not doing like Terrence Crawford, and he's not on the other side of the street either, like Terrence Crawford. So it's not the same situation. These fights could be easy to make. Canelo literally is not making the fight with him, and he got no fucking reason to do so. With Triple G, I understand. He fought Triple G twice. All right, he beat him the second time on the official scorecards. What's he doing facing him again? This is his logic, and he doesn't like Triple G. So I get that part. You can't really say he's ducking. But with Demetrius Andrade, what is his reasons? He's saying that his style is boring. What does that have to do with anything? He ain't got no opponents. Well, guess what? Guess what? You faced Liam Smith, right? The WBO champion at 154. And guess what? Liam Smith didn't have no resume either. In fact, you faced Liam Smith when Liam Smith was green. Liam Smith hadn't even defended his title. So what the hell are you talking about, Canelo? Because you're not being consistent. Now you're talking about exciting fights. Okay, so why did you face Erislandy Lara then? He wasn't an exciting fighter. I mean, everything that Canelo was saying, he done the opposite of what he's saying. So he sounds like a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? So he's not giving us a full, sensible reason. And every Canelo fight has always been exciting. We never had a dull Canelo fight. In fact, why did Canelo want to face Floyd Mayweather? Floyd Mayweather is considered a boring fighter too, right? And what happened in that fight? He was dusted, right? He was dusted, right? And a lot of people talk about how he had to come from behind to beat Erislandy Lara, and a lot of people believe Erislandy Lara won that fight, even though I don't. Okay, right? So I'm just saying, that Canelo is right now, he's bullshitting us. He's bullshitting us, just like how Floyd Mayweather bullshit us with Gary Russell Jr. Right? And Gary Russell Jr. is going to take his little ass and move up to 135 just to haunt Tank Davis and Lomachenko. He really a super featherweight. But he going to come up to 135 just to follow their ass down. And guess what? Demetrius Andrade, he young. He said, I got plenty of years behind me. I got plenty to go. So I'm going to follow Canelo ass. I heard Jamal Charlo say the same thing. He ain't getting away. And I like that. See, that's the difference between these guys and Terrence Crawford, who sound like he's desperate to have an immediate fight with Errol Spence because Bob Arum be pumping that stupid juice in his head. Whereas he didn't want to face no other big welterweight. Why? Because he thinks he might get, the way how it sounds like Terrence Crawford is afraid to get dusted by anybody else. He doesn't mind getting dusted by Errol Spence because Errol Spence is like a marquee name. And if I get beat by a marquee name, it's not that bad. This is going to be the future of boxing. This is the calculated decision Amir Khan made. Where Amir Khan also, of course, Terrence Crawford would, I even hear him calling out Manny Pacquiao. Why are you not calling out Manny Pacquiao? I haven't heard Terrence Crawford call out Manny Pacquiao. He ain't calling him out. What are you saying? Oh, I respect Manny Pacquiao. He don't have to face me. What the fuck does that mean? What the fuck does that mean? He's a world champion. He's the WBA super champion. He just beat Keith Thurman. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? But that's how it go. It's Bob Arum behind this shit. And y'all don't see the bullshit. And I'm trying to give you points and not a fanboy. I don't care. Like, if Terrence Crawford faced Errol Spence next, I'll be happy about that. But I know Errol Spence going to whoop his ass. Especially in the 11th and 12th round. That's when it's going to come down. And he's going to whoop his ass. Because all he's been doing is invest into the body. Fucking Mike McCallum, man. Go and watch that dude. Go and watch Mike McCallum's career. It's an incredible career, by the way. Okay? Go watch Mike McCallum's career. The body snatcher. Okay? That's what Errol do. And there are few fighters that can beat Errol Spence. And Sean Porter said, you guys remember this. Because I'm the only guy that's going to do this to Errol. And he was right. Sean Porter's not your run-of-the-mill kind of dude. And you guys going to learn to appreciate him a lot more after Errol started whooping ass. And he will whoop ass. Trust me, he will whoop ass. If you put Danny Garcia in front of him, he's going to chop him down like a tree in the 11th and 12th. You'll visibly see it. You know, if you put Terrence in front of him right now, Terrence gonna get chopped down the same fucking way, like Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia and Terrence Crawford are gonna be in the same boat. They're gonna be in the same boat. Y'all talking about Terrence Crawford outboxing? I ask you, how is he going to outbox him? I ask you that because Errol Spence is a boxer too. That's what y'all missing the point. You saw him outbox Danny Garcia. You saw him outbox Danny Garcia, but Terrence Crawford got flat feet. He got slow feet. Well, then why the fuck didn't Danny Garcia take advantage of that? He couldn't do it to Sean Porter because Sean Porter is a different beast. Sean Porter is a different beast. Sean Porter is a buzzsaw. He looks slow compared to Sean Porter because Sean Porter doesn't box like the boxers. He bobs and weaves. He slips and slides. He dips. He uses his short stature to get even lower and then come from low to high. And he's quick. Like I said, he like an Aaron Pryor. Y'all don't understand. Sean Porter is a totally different style to Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford uses standard boxing technique. Terrence Crawford doesn't know how to spin you on the ropes because he can't get under your punches. He can't roll under your punches, turn around, and then turn the tables on you. He don't do that shit. Man, Vasil, you be going, bro. Vasil says, can I get your opinion on Tyson Fury? I have a question for you. Man, fuck Tyson Fury. Vasil, I don't want to jump topics. Listen, man, fuck Tyson Fury, okay? Tyson Fury, so far, I'm not even interested in Tyson Fury right now. And you know what's the thing about it? I thought he was the number one, the best, heavyweight in the division. But he's shit. Wilder gonna stop his ass. Wilder know what to do. If Wilder ever faced him, because Tyson Fury's always worming his way out of situations. We don't even know if the Tyson Fury Wilder fight is gonna ever happen. Festival says Demetrius Andrew would give Canelo problems. Fuck yeah, of course. Even if Canelo scrapes by a win, which is possible because he got all those skills and he can make adjustments just like Andre can make adjustments, and he got a lot more experience at this present time. But even if Canelo gets the win, it's not going to be an easy fight for him, for sure. But I just think that Andre don't have the experience like Jacobs. But he did a better job than Jacobs in beating Solanke, so you never know. That's why, since he's not getting the Canelo fight, he should be trying to get a Billy Joe Saunders fight. That's a really good matchup for him, and they was going to do it anyway, so you might as well go ahead and do it. Vasily says, Liam Smith's a good boxer. I love the way he fought against Jaime Munguia. Man, he ain't got. One of my point is he didn't have no name on his resume. Canelo was talking about, oh, Liam Smith, he need a name on his resume. Well, he didn't have no name on his resume when Canelo faced him. In fact, he just became world champion. So Canelo talking shit. But still, there's another point to make here that Canelo's moving up the weight classes just as how Garcia did. That means nothing to me. Not one damn thing. It doesn't mean anything to me. What does that have to do with anything? You do understand that Canelo, again, I'm not saying he ducking Demetrius Andrew. I can't say that because he's facing Sergey Kovalev. You can't, for a guy to duck another guy, he got to face a dud after. He got to face a dud. I could categorically say that Triple G ducked Demetrius Andrade, okay? And the first time he gave up his IBF title, he ducked Derevyanchenko. I could say that categorically because we know when he went to the zone, they proposed Demetrius Andrade for him to face, right? And he turned it down and he picked Steve Rose, right? He ducked him, period, right? He ducked him. The so-called feared monster ducked Demetrius Andrade. He had the opportunity again, this time to face Demetrius Andrade for the WBO title, okay? Instead, he picked Derevyanchenko to win the IBF title. He was gonna pick Derevchenko because he know Derevchenko versus Demetrius Andrade, and quite frankly, he did not win that fight against Derevchenko. We all know that, right? But it's all good. He officially got the win over Derevchenko, but he had a better chance of winning. In his mind, he had a better chance of winning against Derevchenko than Demetrius Andrade. And guess what he's doing? He's not rematching Derevchenko. He's not doing an immediate rematch. What's he trying to do? Defend his IBF title against a mandatory. That's what he's going to do next. He don't want to see Derevchenko again. He don't want no piece of Derevchenko again. Like I said to you guys, all fucking GGG going to do with that IBF title is keep on defending against duds. Defending against duds. He ain't going to face nobody. He going to finish off his career defending against duds. He ain't fighting no more names. They can say whatever the fuck they want to say. He ain't facing no more names. He going to be the dud. He going to be the dud fighter. And guess what? The bum fighter. Bum luffing, as they say. And you know what's the other funny thing to me? This is what's so hilarious to me. His fucking fans are going to praise him still. And they're going to say, oh, this guy ducking him. And this guy's ducking him. They're going to still keep on saying that shit. Right? Andre be trying to get a fight with Triple G. But Triple G going to fight his mandatories. Just like what he did with the WBA title. The paper championship title. And then he got it official. You know he never beat a world champion to become a WBA champion, right? I mean, Demetrius Andrade didn't beat a world champion either to become the WBO champion, and that's an inferior title, but I'm just saying. Mr. Hype Lufkin. I'm going to call him Hype Lufkin. They hype this motherfucker too much. Canelo is laughable, for sure. Vasily sounds like it's Achilles' heel. He don't want to face Demetrius Andrade, but Demetrius Andrade, he gonna get some names on his resume, and then we're gonna see what Canelo got, what excuse he gonna have next, because he gonna make excuses. Liam Smith's a good, okay. There's another point to make here that Canelo's like, yeah, I know. Vasily Lomachenko says he picked the weakest title holder in the super middleweight division. Weakest title holder? That motherfucker's not a title holder. Who? Rocky Fielding? Oh, listen, man. Listen. First of all, I don't consider that a championship, okay? The guy was Callum Smith he had to face. He didn't face Callum Smith, okay? Rocky Fielding was a matchroom boxer. That's just Callum Smith. He could have faced Callum Smith, and he didn't. All right? Yeah, Fielding. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you 100%. And he's doing the same thing right now with Kovalov. He knows Kovalov is susceptible to the body. He knows he can throw good body punches, so that he's going to pick up a belt, like I said before. Right? And Kovalov got a legacy. So that's what he's doing. He's trying to pick up a belt. That's what he's trying to do. Vasily says Canelo should have stayed at 168 and fought Callum Smith or David Benavidez. Callum Smith would have been better. Or hear what? He had unfinished business with the 160-pounder Billy Joe Saunders. Why didn't he go up to 168 and face Billy Joe? To me, that's a tougher fight than Callum Smith and David Benavidez, and really would have shown something. Because, yeah, Callum Smith's undefeated, but he's an outside fighter, okay? David Benavidez is undefeated, but he's an outside fighter. Canelo gonna piece up them two guys. They easy work. But when it comes to Billy Joe Saunders, he not easy work. He's not easy work, okay? That's why I was salivating when Billy Joe Saunders was supposed to face Demetrius Andrade, because I was like, this is a good fight. This is a good fight. These are two good fighters, all-around good fighters, and their strategy, they smart good fighters at the same time. Billy Joe Saunders a little bit more limited than Demetrius Andrade, but this is a good-ass fight. And then the fight was canceled. These are the things in boxing that just really piss me off, you know what I mean? So I hope to see that fight, you know. Mike McCallum, I saw his fight with Roy Jones Jr. Yeah, but he was 40 years old when he faced Roy there, though. He was way past it. Even though he was world champion, I think he was world lightweight champion about a fight or two ago. Vasil says, Garcia is tough, though. I don't think Errol stops Garcia. Yeah. You mean Danny Garcia? No, he not stopping. Errol's days of man down are over, okay? They're over. All right. So he's not stopping nobody. He's not stopping Terrence Crawford. He's not stopping Garcia. He's not stopping Keith Thurman. He still got Keith Thurman in the face. And Pacquiao, right? He's not stopping none of them guys. So I agree with you on that. I think Errol outboxes and puts on a clinic with Garcia. Um, Look, man, Errol worked the body. And we saw Sean Porter get body shots in on Garcia. And Garcia got decent defense, though. He got really good defense. And he's tough. He's a Philly fighter and stuff. He gonna get his shots in on Errol as well. But I just truly believe that Errol will keep on sniping him, getting some body shots in. When he can work him to the ropes, he gonna work him to the ropes. You know, Garcia's strong, and he can also pivot out. Expect Garcia to be actually walking down Errol early in the fight. Errol will have to box him a bit, just like what he did with Sean Porter. But at the end of the day, I think Sean Porter was the best that Errol could have faced. So he's going to be ready for Garcia. If Garcia stays in front of you a little too much, that's just perfect for Errol to sidestep him and really start landing some body shots. But I tell you what, you remember Lamont Peterson versus Garcia, what happened in the 11th and 12th rounds? That shit going to happen all over again. But it's going to be even more devastating. It's going to be a brutal ass beating in the 11th and 12th. Because Errol going to put it on him. Errol Pryor was a juicer. Maybe he was, but the tenacity and the power and the strength of Aaron Pryor was the thing that I see in Sean Porter. And Sean Porter gets dropped sometimes too, like Aaron Pryor got dropped. The only way he beat Alexis Seguela, yeah, but from the cheating thing that they used, some kind of. I'm not disagreeing with you on Saunders juicing. Okay, I'm not going to disagree with you on that, Vasil. But what I'm saying is, though, those were fights that really got my interest. Those are fights that I want to see. Vasil says, I never liked Triple G. I thought he was grossly overrated. Man, the man be super overrated, man. And you know he's a good fighter. Don't get me wrong. He's an elite good fighter, all right? But my thing about it is, like, people hype him up to status that he's not. None of those things he do. He don't do that shit. They talking about he have great defense. He never had great defense. You know what I'm saying? Like they hyped him up like that, you know, and they compared him to Floyd Mayweather and shit. And I'm like, this dude is nothing like Floyd Mayweather. He's not like Floyd Mayweather. His head keeping center line. What the fuck you talking about? You know? And it was that kind of thing. That's like an overcompensation for this guy being a white fighter. But the fucking stupid ass part about it is you're desperate because the guy gets KOs or they have a match made, so he's getting a lot of KOs. You guys get sensationalized about that, you know, and people started really loving this guy. He was a lovable character, and he had this nice little thing, drama show and shit. But they hyped him up to a level which he was never. He was never that kind of fighter. You know what I'm saying? And I was high on the Triple G thing too. You know, it was Boxing Beats and Ryan, like I said, and EJ Boxing Live that got me back down to earth. And then I started critiquing this guy and looking at him properly. And I was like, what the fuck are they talking about? And then when they talked about how Canelo ducked him, and when they talked about how Miguel Cotto, listen, man, Miguel Cotto, a legend in the fucking sport. And they were talking about Miguel Cotto's ducking him. And Miguel Cotto ain't even a fucking middleweight, right? Miguel Cotto accomplished more than he was supposed to accomplish, right? Yeah, it was an injured Sergio Martinez. Absolutely. Cotto even dictated cruel terms and shit. So we have to call it for what it is. Smash that like button, people. All right? So yeah, there's all those asterisks on Cotto, right? He got dehydrated Daniel Gill and shit. Okay, fine. But at the end of the day, they turned around and said, Miguel Cotto's ducking GGG. I thought that was just wrong. Like if Cotto said to GGG, all right, we're going to have a fight, but I want you to come down to 155. Triple G was never going to do that shit. And then y'all would have turned around and said, oh, he's supposed to fight him at the maximum middleweight limit, or this is not a middleweight fight. And I'll be like, but Cotto ain't no big dude. He's not a middleweight. Do you understand? That's like Floyd Mayweather facing Canelo-Alvarez, beating him, becoming unified champ, and then they want him to face every single fucking super welterweight in the welterweight division, in the super welterweight division. It's not fair. He's not a super welterweight. He can't even make the super welterweight limit, which is why he had Canelo at a catchweight, even though he had Miguel Cotto at 154 and he had Oscar De La Hoya at 154, which was inconsistent. And I think you should have just faced Canelo at 154. Let's just be real, all right? Because you weaken Canelo by doing that, especially down in the later rounds. But nonetheless, my point is, Floyd is not a fucking super welterweight. He's not. Right? He's not. He never was in his career. Pacquiao's not a super welterweight either, right? Did I like the catch weights? No, but I understood it. Okay. And similarly, Canelo wanted Triple G to face him at 157, and Triple G was like, no. That's why they didn't have the negotiations. That way, Canelo had to surrender the WBC belt because they were still trying to negotiate the thing. Triple G just took the WBC belt. That's to tell you the kind of quality of champion GGG was. All he was interested in was belt collecting. So when Canelo whooped his ass and took all his belts from him, I laughed. I laughed because everybody was supporting Triple G. And then up to this day, people are saying Triple G won the first fight, and there's no fucking way in hell he won the first fight. No fucking way in hell. Canelo wasn't going to go in there and bang with him because Canelo didn't know. Canelo was coming up in weight. So Canelo boxed his ass. And he boxed him, and he succeeded at boxing and outboxing his ass and tattooing up his ass in the process. And y'all never gave this kid the credit he deserved. You never did. And that hurt me because I was saying to myself, yes, I'm a Canelo fan, some, but I could see I'm a fan of him because of what I see in him. And so he's the most underrated fucking boxer in boxing right now. There's a lot of hate towards him. I get it. The judges have scored some really ridiculous scorecards, but in the case of Adelaide Bird, her scorecard was not ridiculous. I do agree with the other things with the Austin Trout issue, where the scorecards were way too fucking wide, and with that whack-ass scorecard that some judge gave him in the fight against Erislandy Lara. That was a whack-ass scorecard. But let's be real, though. He won those fights, okay? But I can understand why people don't like Canelo for that reason, okay? I made the point that Canelo's picking off the weakest in the weight divisions he moves up. Absolutely, I agree with you. I'm not praising him. Neither am I. I think it's a gimme fight. The Cola fight's a gimme fight. He doesn't want no parts of Dimitri. He ain't gonna face Dimitri Bivol. Are you serious? Dimitri Bivol, again, is a fighter who's young, he's strong, he's skilled. He ain't gonna face him. I agree with Billy Joe Saunders. Again, that's a tough ass fight, and I would love to see that. I thought Billy Joe Saunders was supposed to fight Andrade. I hope he does. Then he was tested positive for a banned substance by VADA. I heard it was just a nasal spray. And I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing, but it was something in a nasal spray. So I don't know. Sometimes I don't understand why. And why is he using the nasal spray? That's what you got to ask yourself. And it seems as though he uses nasal spray all the time. So I don't understand this ticky-tack kind of bullshit. I don't like it. Was Billy Joe Saunders actually juicing, or was he using the nasal spray for some reason that he needed to use it? And so it's like this bullshit. Sometimes they do some bullshit things with the banned substances, and it's like, man, you just don't know what to make of the fighter because he got a question mark on him. But at the same time, nasal spray? Come on, man. The dude was using nasal spray. Oh, sometimes it really annoys me, though. Anyways, Tyson Fury is the great white hype. Man, the thing with Tyson Fury that annoys me, he's somewhere in WWE doing some kind of shit, which I don't even give a fuck about. The thing about Tyson Fury that annoys me is, here's this guy talking this talk, and then he goes and fights duds. You understand what I'm saying? This is the same thing with Terence Crawford, okay? Terence Crawford be talking all this talk, and then he goes and fights a dud, all right? Demetrius Andrade. If Demetrius Andrade don't face Billy Joe Saunders, some big name, after all this time he's been given, talking about he won a Canelo fight, the Triple G fight, right? If he goes and just continues to face duds, man, I'm gonna be trashing his ass too. Knocks out tomato cans. He didn't even knock out the last tomato can. That's the thing. The last tomato can gave him a damaged eye, which might keep him out of boxing for a while. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's so fucking annoying. KP from Casey says, Canelo moves weight classes to duck Andrade and Charlo. He even had a 155 weight class. Hashtag fat. I remember that. Yeah. Man, I don't know, man. He has not faced Jamal Charlo. He has not faced Demetrius Andrade. And this is 2 weight divisions now. That's another point that makes it different to the Terence Crawford incident. Terence Crawford just appeared on the scene. He just like last year he was on the scene or something like that. And he's calling out Errol Spence, right? He's calling out Errol Spence. So it hasn't been about a year, okay? And what's amazing to me is Canelo has been years with these dudes. Okay, we talking like 5+, 6+, 7+ years, and he still hasn't faced them. I call bullshit on that. Jose Maria says, yeah, Canelo wants no part of Bevo. Let's just remember, just a few years ago, he was fighting a super welterweight. Now he's fighting to light heavy. Who does that? I'm not saying no. I'm not saying no. And I mean, he's one of the very few these days who's doing that. So kudos to him on that. I'm never saying that that's a bad thing. I'm not even saying he's ducking these dudes. Okay. You notice I've been very careful what I say. I'm not going to say he's ducking Demetrius Andrade or Jamal Charlo. But I find it rather strange that he going to go everywhere, look for every single fight but these guys, right? He was willing to face Derevyanchenko. Do you guys realize that? Who did Derevyanchenko face? Only Danny Jacobs. Only Danny Jacobs. I mean, okay. All right. And middleweight, you know, Matt Korobov ain't really a name. You know what I'm saying? Kind of faded. You know what I'm saying? That's the best that Jamal Charlo has at middleweight. And then when you look at Demetrius Andrade, the best he got at middleweight is Solanke, right? But having said all of that, this dude was with these guys at super welterweight, man. He was at super welterweight with these guys. When these guys was fighting Vanes Martirosyan, which Canelo didn't face, when Martirosyan was really something. All right? They went through Vanes Martirosyan. Who he go through? Okay, he went through Erislandy Lara. Kudos to him on that. Who else? Think about it. Besides Floyd Mayweather and Erislandy Lara, and Floyd Mayweather is not a super welterweight, so we forget about him. Super welterweights alone. Besides Erislandy Lara, who credible Canelo went through at super welterweight? I'm gonna wait. And remember, he spent most of his career. Okay, Austin Trout. Okay, besides Austin Trout, okay, so he got two names. Okay, that's good enough, right? I mean, the other guys don't even have that much. But when you think about what Jamal Charlo did at super welterweight, all right, Jamal Charlo went through J. Rock Williams, Vanes Martirosyan, and I'm gonna have to look in BoxRec to see who else. Hold on a second. I'm gonna get it in a minute. What the fuck is it? Demetrius Andrade went through Vanes Martirosyan. Where the fuck? Oh, shit. I thought this was Demetrius Andrade. Hold on a second. I'm gonna tell you who else. Martirosyan went through some names, by the way. Vanes Martirosyan went through. He faced Erislandy Lara, former champion Ishe Smith, Jamal Charlo, of course, Willie Nelson, Demetrius Andrade. Erislandy Lara he got a draw with, actually, so he rematched him. So he's gone through some names. I'm looking for Jamal Charlo. I can't believe this shit. Oh shit! I got Jamal's brother, Jamal Charlo, but I know they both faced some similar opponents, so all I just gotta find is Austin Trout. There you go. Fuck you. Good. I'm gonna get him now. There you go. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you the credible opponents Jamal Charlo faced. Oh, he also faced Jamal Charlo also faced Jorge Sebastian Highland, who was a number one mandatory for the WBC title. So Gennady Golovkin's one, but again he had an injured leg. So yeah, these are the credible guys that Jamal Charlo actually faced. Julian Williams, Austin Trout, Cornelius Bundridge. Cornelius Bundridge is old as fuck though. That's it, right? And then he faced at middleweight. He faced Jorge Sebastian Hyland, who you guys probably don't know who he is, but he's kind of like Sergey Martinez style. And then you got Matvey Korobov, who gave Andy Lee all he could handle. Andy Lee finally stopping him. So those are the names that he actually got. Hugo Centeno, who was beaten by Solanke first. Right? That's the opponents. That's the fights that he's had. Right? Which is pretty good. I mean, it's actually better than Demetrius Andrade's, to be honest with you. But yeah, these are the guys, and they've been around with Canelo for a long time. In fact, Jamal Charlo became champion in 2015. It's now 2019, 4 years later. You know, and he's been around Canelo even before that. I think all around 2014, Jamal Charlo was around. So we're talking about 5 years Canelo's been around these guys. And I understand that they didn't really build a legacy that much, and then Canelo moved up. But Jamal Charlo was a champion at the time when Canelo was middleweight champion. And then when Canelo put away his middleweight title, Jamal Charlo was a champion. Why didn't you just face Jamal Charlo? You know what I'm saying? No, you face Liam Smith. Come on, man. Like, come on. Like, really? You know? And it's this kind of thing that you're looking at. You know what I mean? This dude always faced like the weakest guy or the weakest link. Now he did face some tougher guys, but I mean, I'm just saying. George heard me. Jose Ramirez said, yeah, I agree. People bash on Canelo for fighting Josecito Lopez, but the reason for that fight was due to Lopez beating Victor Ortiz when Ortiz was something. Yeah, but Victor Ortiz just lost to Floyd Mayweather to start with. And then second of all, Victor Ortiz wasn't a super welterweight. Remember, Canelo fought Josecito Lopez when Josecito Lopez was a welterweight. Jose Ramirez says, yeah, we do need a Charlo versus Canelo fight. Yeah, man. These guys been there 5 years with this dude. It's not like this. This is not like Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford, where we're talking about Terence Crawford just became WBO champion last year, was it? When did Terence Crawford become WBO champion? Let me see. Hold on. Let me have a look at that. Terence Bud Crawford. If I'm not mistaken, he just won the championship recently, right? So Bud, yeah, June last year. So in 2018, June 9th of 2018, he became the WBO welterweight champion. That was his first welterweight fight, and he beat Jeff Horn. Right? And kudos to him on that. So he did one better than Mikey Garcia. But at the end of the day, you know, he only been around for like a year. It's going on 2 years now. Close to 2 years. It hasn't reached 2 years yet. By a year and a year and 6 months? Well, at the end of this year, it'll be a year and 6 months, right? So a year and probably October, November, December. A year and about 4 months, okay? Since he became world champion. So him calling out Errol Spence is like, I mean, dude, meantime, you know what I'm saying? Fight some worthy fighters in the meantime. Get yourself stronger and stuff. But with the case of Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Andrade, we're talking 5 years this motherfucker not been facing them. Okay? Canelo hasn't been facing them for 5 years, and he clearly is ducking them. He clearly is not ducking them, but he's clearly avoiding them. Okay? He's clearly avoiding them. And so So what Demetrius Andrew got to do is he got to get a name on his resume. And all this thing about Danny Jacobs, my brother. Timothy Bradley was talking about how Terrence Crawford is his brother, and Sean Porter talking about how Terrence Crawford is his brother. Man, fuck that. This is a professional fight. It's about making paper. Go make your paper. You know what I'm saying? Jamel Charlo and Jamal Charlo, they said, man, if it come down to that, we gonna fight one another, okay? And they are actual brothers, so I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear about no, he's my brother. Fuck that. If he really is your brother, then you gonna want him to get a payday, and you won't want to get a payday, and you can keep it in the family, okay? So I don't want to hear that shit. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear that shit. All right. So like I said, Sean Porter should face Terrence Crawford. Danny Garcia should face Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford should face Keith Thurman. Terrence Crawford should face Manny Pacquiao. If Manny Pacquiao stay in the mix, then he want to rumble them boys. That's what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And so we want to see the dude do. We want to see it do what it do, as they say. Let's see it, man. Let's see it. Let's see it come out. And let's see it come. And we don't know. Maybe Terrence Crawford gets it next with Errol Spence. Maybe he does. At the end of the day, he just came up yesterday. This is an ongoing saga with Canelo. It's going on 5 years. And everybody talking about how Mayweather Pacquiao took 5 years to make and blah, 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 blah. Well, what the fuck is happening with Canelo and these boys? They keep on winning. They still undefeated. Why isn't he not facing them dudes? You know what I mean? And making all these excuses. Now, that's what I'm talking about. All right, that's what I'm talking about. And everybody else want to talk and make false equivalencies. Man, shut up, man. That's what I want to say. Shut up. Because y'all know you're making false equivalencies, man. I always try to speak the truth. Y'all always try to twist it. You know what I'm saying? Not talking about you guys right now in the chat, but I'm talking about these guys like Hybrid 95. Y'all always bring up non-factual things or false equivalencies or false stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I'm tired of that shit. If you wanna really make points that actually matter, we can talk about that. But you always, Boxing Librarian used to do that same shit. He would misquote me and bring up all kinds of false equivalencies, and he would talk all this theoretical bullshit, which I didn't give a fuck about. I was always serious about boxing, okay? And so, like I said before, I'll keep on saying again, if you're going to talk boxing with me, make sure you're talking boxing. Yeah, and for all the other clowns out there who want to, talk all kinds of crap, you know what I'm saying? Just make sure you come correct with me, because I'll put you on blast real fast. You know what I'm saying? H Money, you said how Errol Spence gonna knock Sean Porter out. I'm gonna call your reckless ass out. You better be trimming that hair. You better be bald when I see you. And you better show me a picture of yourself with everything shaved off. Eyebrows, everything. You gotta get clean shave. I see you talking all in all kinds of sex. I will hunt you down, motherfucker, because you will pay up. Anytime I see you, I'm because you're gonna have to mute yourself around me. I know it's just fan stuff, though. I'm just clowning. I'm just saying, this guy was wrong like Donkey Kong, and now he got to eat his words. You got to pay up. I'm just playing. So my point, anyway, is this. I got the utmost confidence that Canelo gonna knock out Sergey Kovalev. That's happening. Anybody want to bet me on that? Let's do it, man. Let's do it. I'm not betting money because I can't bet money. But let's bet something, man. I don't have a problem with betting because I know what I know. Jose Ramirez says, do you think you'll make a pit start at 168 before going down to 160? Dropping weight like that takes a toll on your body. I don't know what he's going to do. Honestly, I don't know what he'll go and do. I don't care about Canelo like that. Like, whatever he wants to do with himself is fine by me. What I do know is he took one of the weakest fucking light heavyweights in the division right now. He ain't try to get Bivol. He ain't try to get Gavordik, he ain't trying to get Bitter BF. He sure as fuck ain't trying to get Bitter BF. If he had called out Bitter BF, I'd be like, hey, now Canelo, yeah, Canelo. Yeah, yeah, now we talking. He didn't call out Bitter BF. Bitter BF can box and he got heavy, heavy fucking hands. So that would have been serious. You know, Kovalev got heavy hands, but he ain't strong. Bevo's strong. I'd love to see that fight, by the way. Canelo versus Bevo. That would Canelo gonna have to pull out all the stops for that one. And that's what I want to see. I want to see competitive fights like that. A real challenge. Triple G, he was never a challenge. All right? He was never a challenge. Canelo dusted him like it was a joke. But Caleb Plant's a challenge. Oh, yeah. Caleb Plant's a challenge. You know, Billy Joe Saunders is a challenge. Demetrius Andrade is a challenge. Jamal Charlo got a jab. Canelo can get past the jab. Jamal Charlo is strong on the inside. You know what I'm saying? Great channel, What You Need. Sergio Mendoza, shout out to you, brother. Who has the best resume at 175? Kovalev, obviously. Kovalev has the best resume at 175, but he the weakest motherfucking champion right now at 175. You want to dispute that with me? We know he's the number one light heavyweight in the world as ranked because of his resume. That's all. That's like saying Shane Mosley, right? You know, he was the best welterweight in the world, and he got Floyd Mayweather right there. And he was the number one welterweight because he knocked out Antonio Margarito. Okay, he knocked out Antonio Margarito, but guess what? He got his ass handed to him by Floyd, right? So who was better? Floyd, obviously, because Floyd was just better all around than Shane Mosley was all around. Shane Mosley had all around game too, but he just was not as good as Floyd. So being the number one, welterweight in the world and the number one light heavyweight in the world don't mean shit. You have to look at now the actual boxer, what they went through. It's not just resume, right? So that's why, when they talk about Terence Crawford's pound for pound number one, Errol Spence said, fuck your pound for pound. Why? Because Errol Spence knows he better fighter than Terence Crawford. He knows that. When Terence Crawford steps to him, he going to beat him. He know that. That's why he said, fuck your pound for pound. He knew that was more propaganda than anything else because Terence Crawford hadn't done anything at the welterweight division yet. Whereas Errol Spence did and continues to do. And the longer that they keep this fight going is only the better Errol Spence going to be because he's being tested at every turn, seriously tested. Terence Crawford is not seriously tested at welterweight, and that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a factor in this fight because everything Terence Crawford can do, Errol Spence can do. Terence Crawford can switch it. Errol Spence can switch it. Terence Crawford can box on the outside. Errol Spence can box on the outside. Terence Crawford could do a little inside work. Errol Spence lives on the inside. That's what he do. He body punch, and he love to do inside work. Okay? And that makes a big difference in this fight because Errol Spence the bigger fighter. So when Errol Spence gets to work on the inside of Terence Crawford, it's going to make a big fucking difference. Y'all can't see that. Y'all thinking Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvin Hagler. No, this is not that kind of fight. Marvin Hagler couldn't cut off the ring. I guarantee you, Errol Spence will cut off the ring. Okay? And that's the difference. Size does matter in a fight like that. It does. And strength. Okay? It does make a difference. And a lot of y'all not really factoring that in. Errol Spence is 5'8" like Floyd. He got a 72-inch reach. Terence Crawford got 74-inch reach. I think he is 5'8" as well. So I'm just saying, it's just different. It's different. Jose Benavidez. Jose Ramirez says, shout out to Jose Ramirez once again. Benavidez versus Plant. Who do I got? Plant. All day, every single day of the week, 24/7. I mean, minute by minute. How much do you understand that? Of course, I got Caleb Plant all day. Caleb Plant beats him all day, every day. Benavidez got only one thing going for him: his power on the outside. He got no fucking inside game. He not gonna beat Caleb Plant if you don't have all round game. You should be able to do everything. You should be able to fight on the inside. You should be able to fight on the outside. That's where Andre Ward shined because he had all round game. Some of them other guys didn't have all round game, and then he always sharpened up his all round game. He just keep on working on his all round game. That's where Canelo got a big advantage over Kovalev. Sergio Mendoza says, I agree with you. Crawford and Spence on the Crawford and Spence subject. Canelo to me is number one pound for pound, not Crawford. Okay, I can agree with that. Absolutely. I'm going to tell you the guys who I think are pound for pound number one. Manny Pacquiao and Canelo Alvarez. It's between them two, to be honest with you. Because you got to look at resume, but you also got to look at skill set. You also got to look at their previous achievements, the level of opposition they be facing of late. You got to look at all that shit. Pacquiao proved it through multiple divisions. Canelo is proving it through multiple divisions as well, you know. And they're not fighting scrubs. They're not fighting just anybody. They fighting, well, Canelo's been fighting some scrubs. But, and so has Pacquiao. But I'm just saying, they also fight names, real names, like real names. You know what I mean? Canelo had the opportunity to clean out his division. He didn't. And that goes against him, though. Sergio Mendoza says, I respectfully disagree with you on the Benavidez versus Plant subject. Here's why. Please do. Please do. Please do. I'm interested to hear what you have to say. But like I said, Benavidez does not have all-around game. And the only reason he beat Anthony Dirrell is because he cut his eye. And that was because Dirrell was playing the ass clown. He was beating Benavidez easy. And I thought Ronald Gavra beat David Benavidez. I thought Ronald Gavra beat his ass. But because he's the young upcoming fighter, they gave Benavidez the fight. But Gavra was doing a much better work. I just don't see how. I think Caleb Plant's just better than them all. Caleb Plant and Billy Joe Saunders, I think, beats Benavidez as well. Saunders beats Benavidez and Plant beats Benavidez. Too inexperienced, too limited as a fighter. Excellent on the outside, but just like Andre Dirrell, just like Callum Smith, these guys can only fight on the outside. You get to the inside of them, it's a problem. They all like Sergey Kovalev. They're not Bivos. They're not Biderbievs. They're not Govordiks. They can't even do mid-range game. That's not their thing. Callum Smith's greatest win is what? George Groves? You could say who Billy Joe Saunders fought at 168, which is fair enough. But he showed us what he could do at 160. I'm just saying. I think Eubanks at 168 too, right? We got some good fighters at 168, actually. I'm listening to you. What's your reasoning, man? Or you typing away? Yeah, so that's just my thing. You're talking about pound for pound. I think it's either Pacquiao or Canelo at this point in time. Pacquiao's got a ridiculous resume, and his last win against Keith Thurman was a really good, solid win. Sergio Martinez says Plant keeps his hands low at his waist, and when he gets tired, his hands drop even lower. That had nothing to do with it. You just shoulder roll. It's the stance. It's what he does with his stance. So if I keep my hands low, for example, but I'm using my shoulder to deflect punches and stuff, it doesn't really matter. What it does is it allows me to goad you in. Canelo sometimes keep his hands low. Against Gennady Golovkin in the first and second fights, he dropped his hands. He just giving you a different look. Sean Porter give you a different look too. Roy Jones Jr. used to keep his hands low. I mean, lots of people keep their hands low. Floyd Mayweather, Shane Mosley. I mean, you name it. It's just a style of fighting where It tricks you. You think the guy's chin is out there to be hit, and then he just covers it up with the shoulder, and then he comes back with a counter. He'll catch you and then shoot you. He also pop you up with an up jab, pop your chin up in the air, and then clock you with a left, or catch you with an up jab, catch you with a right hook after. I think he did that to the other guy. What is it, Matthew Lee or Matt Lee or whatever his name is? He actually caught him with one of them shots. So keeping his hands low don't mean nothing. Plant will be wide open for Benavidez' jab and right hand. Fuck no. Not Caleb Plant, bro. Again, you dreaming on you dreaming on a dream. What he'll do is he'll encourage Benavidez to throw that jab and that right hand, and then he'll counter his ass. Then he'll slip to the inside and start working his body. Plant doesn't have enough power to keep Benavidez off. Again, y'all come with the power shit. Andrew Ward had power to keep Sergey Kovalev off. Andrew Ward ain't no power puncher. He worked the body. Derevyanchenko had the power to keep Triple G off of him. He worked the body. Accumulation of punishment. Yeah, there you go. But Sergio Martinez, he used foot movement, though. He mostly used his feet. Caleb's more nuanced. He might use a little pivot work off the jabs and shit, but he used what we call virtual distance. So he could pull counter you. Whether he pull counters your jab with his jab, whether he pull counters you with the right hand, whether he pull counters you with a right sweeping right hand, or he pull counters you with a left spear jab or a left uppercut. It's all set up to pull counter you. So you induce the guy to throw the jab. You know the two might come after the one. So you pause and then you counter. See, Benavidez is not really a counterpuncher. Caleb Plant is. That's never a good thing. And y'all keep on getting caught up in the power train. Listen, man, the power hype train is bullshit, okay? Gennady Golovkin had the power. Derevyanchenko still beat his ass. It's about boxing. It's not about power. You guys got to get off of that shit. There's a time when power is a factor in a fight. Don't get me wrong. But usually that's in the case of guys with similar skill sets. Guys who match up pretty evenly. Then power makes a difference. But when you're talking about guys who are not matched evenly, one guy has much more skills than the other and much more home skills than the other. Benavidez don't have home skills like that. Keep in mind, Uzcategui was landing at will starting from the 5th round, and Uzcategui didn't have a jab or body attack, something Benavidez does have. Again, you're talking about a different style. You're forcing Benavidez' style into Uzcategui's style, and you can't do that. That's like saying, because Sean Porter had success against Errol Spence, then Terence Crawford going to have that same success. No. Terence Crawford's style is not the same as Sean Porter's style. And if you don't realize that styles make fights, you're going to be in deep shit in your predictions. There's a reason why Uzcategui was able to have success against Caleb Plant. But you obviously don't realize what it is. Hence, you use a false equivalency. So you can't look at one fighter. Okay, he had success, but what did he actually become successful with? What was he actually doing to get the success that he had? And that's where you guys are failing to put it together. And David Benavidez, he have decent body punching. Don't get me wrong, but he not he got a lot to learn, man. He got a lot to learn still in the sport of boxing. He and his brother, and they terrorists. So we know that they made a reputation in different different uh, different gyms, different boxing gyms. The Benavidez brothers, but I mean, don't get it twisted, man. Professionally, they're not still not there, I don't think. Yeah, man. I hear your points though, but I don't think it makes a difference. I think Caleb Plant beats him rather comfortably. Might be an easy fight. Benavidez may have to change up his game plan and just fight. Just fight Caleb Plant. But problem with Benavidez is he don't fight on the inside. He don't fight on the inside. If Caleb Plant close the distance and smother him, or if Caleb Plant close the distance and start working that body, it's over. The problem with it is, right, that he can't land nothing from short distance. Like, the problem with Benavidez is he needs range, he needs distance to land his power. Pretty much like Sergey Kovalev. Kovalev needs distance to land his power. He does have heavy hands on the inside when he throw a short punch too, but it's nothing like the long leverage punches that he has. So that's where these guys, their power is only at the end of their jab or at the end of their punch. You get inside of that, they can't really do you shit. A lot of people, what they do is they try to stay on the outside, trying to avoid. No, you have to have a plan and a strategy to get to the inside. And if you know how to do slip punches, just the basic slipping of punches, where you slip to the weak side instead of the strong side, Caleb Plant will have an easy night because Benavidez will have no answer for him on the inside, except for clinching up. That's how he can win. Yeah, but more one-sided. I would prefer to see Benavidez face Billy Joe Saunders, or not Benavidez, sorry, Caleb Plant face Billy Joe Saunders. That's more competitive. That's a much more competitive fight. But hey, it is what it is. They'll have their rivalry and all of that, but I already figured that the advantage goes to Plant all day, every day of the week. Benavidez is a good fighter. He does what he does well. But you have to have all-around game, folks. You got to have all-around game. That he doesn't have. Same thing for Jose. And like I said before, I saw Ronald Gavril beat him. So, it is what it is. If I'm not mistaken, I think Gavril dropped him too. Didn't he? I think so. Anyways, man, people, that's what I had to say in this video. Hope you guys have a good one. I'm going to get out of here and start working and stuff. I got to also drink and eat and all of that. So I hope you guys have a great day. Shout out to each and every one of you. Look out for the videos. I may have to put these videos up on Daily Motion because I put up a video of GGG getting hit over the head in real time, and then I put up a second video in slow-mo. But what happened was the slow-mo one stayed, and the one that was in real time, the zone blocked it, or at least whatever algorithm they have. As soon as I uploaded it, it was blocked. So you guys may have to go watch my breakdown of the fights that I'm going to be doing on Daily Motion. I might put them up on Daily Motion with the commentary. I might do it round by round so that I don't get it flagged, because the shorter the rounds, the better. And I'll just send a link here, and you guys can go and watch them. But do understand that we're going through a number of different fights. So the fights I'm going to go do first is Sugar Ray Leonard. It's a lot of controversial fights, like Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvin Hagler. Then I'm going to do Canelo versus GGG, the first fight, which everybody said Canelo lost. We'll go through that. And then we're going to do the second fight. And when we do the second fight, we'll do it along with the Derevyanchenko fight. Okay? And then we'll do Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. That fight, which people considered contentious, I didn't see, so I thought Tyson Fury won that fight. And then we're going to do whatever other fights you guys want me to do, breakdown commentary for, so that you guys can see how I score fights, understand how I score fights, and you should be good, right? And you'll realize that scoring a fight not that difficult. It's not that difficult. Once you understand, there are a couple things you need to understand when you're scoring a fight. The first one is you need to know the game plan of both fighters. That is to say, what fighter tends to do in all of his fights, and what another fighter tends to do in their fights. The other thing you may need to know is, they call it keys to victory. What would one fighter need to do to beat the other fighter? And so on, vice versa. And then after that, you need to understand when a fighter gets hurt in the ring. You need to know when fighters are getting hurt. So you look out for certain things. And from that, you just go with the 4 criteria. It's fluidly. You're looking at who's controlling the fight, who's really landing the punches that really count. Significant punches are the most important thing in a fight, not so much numeracy. And then the other thing you want to look at is, you must highlight the defense that's going on. Sometimes you describe the defense for the viewers. And also you want to look at, if somebody's effectively aggressive or not. You explain why the aggression is either effective or it's not effective. All right. So it's those kinds of things we do. And hopefully you guys will get more insight in how to judge fights, so that when you score fights, you can actually score the fight the right way. And that'll make a big difference, because once you understand what the boxers are doing, what they're bringing to the table, what their skill sets are, I think it makes it easier for me to just easily, or you, to watch a fight. You've done your homework. You know what the both fighters are. You know what their style of fighting is. You know what kind of game plans they usually have for different fights. So now you're able to say, okay, this boxer is not accomplishing his game plan. This other boxer, he had to change his game plan to do what the other boxer was doing. Can he beat the other boxer at the game plan that the boxer does very well? And all that kind of stuff, All right. Thank you so very much, everybody. I see so many likes. That's really nice. Don't forget to share this video. You can subscribe. And don't forget, you can donate to my channel as well via Western Union or MoneyGram online. I give you the details, like my address or whatever else you need to put inside of that thing, so that you can send the money to me. That would be great. I'm looking forward to making money on this channel. I'm still trying to look for something online, but those things are online as well. So you can always do it. I can always leave the links for the Western Union or MoneyGram in the description below if you guys want, but it's up to you. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. What you need. Peace.